Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Safety Study Group and to Durus Dunyatna's YouTube channels. Let's talk about the December exam for NEBOSH IGC. Hopefully this explanation will be good and it will be beneficial to everybody. Guys, pay attention because there were a lot of grammatical mistakes and translation mistakes in the Arabic version. So hopefully there won't be anything in the English version. So I'm not going to cover this, the guidance to learners, but you have to read it or you must have read it by now. So we'll just skip ahead and go all the way to the scenario, but remember to attempt all tasks and your minimum words is 2,700 and maximum is 3,300. Don't worry about the minimum, only concern yourself with the maximum because maybe you will only know the answer to 4 questions and your words will be 1,500. So anyways, the scenario, it says, following a serious and well publicized accident, you have been newly recruited as a health and safety advisor. So this is your role. You're the health and safety advisor at a bakery organization. The organization employs directors, shift managers, maintenance engineers, and bakery workers. Now, guys, you have to remember these positions because we'll cover them in the explanation of tasks. Okay, so directors, shift managers, maintenance engineers, and bakery workers. The organization produces bread on a large scale using automated machinery. Okay, ingredients are mixed together to make a dough. The dough is placed in baking tins on a conveyor which travels through an oven, baking the dough into bread. So basically, they make the dough, they put it in tins, put it on the conveyor belt, travels through the oven, and it turns into bread. There are 3 large bread ovens at the bakery. I will make a drawing of the oven later, as well as other machinery used to prepare the dough. So a mixer to make the dough. There is, sorry, not there is. This is all housed in a large warehouse. Okay, the bread baking ovens are long, metal encased tunnels with a conveyor running through them. Okay, the conveyor is made up of horizontal racking bolted through metal plates at either end of the conveyor chain. Let's read this again. The bread baking ovens, we're talking about the ovens, they are made, they are long, metal encased, so surrounded by metal, tunnels with a conveyor running through them. I'll try to make a simple drawing. I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but this is how it will roughly look like. So they are long metal encased tunnels with conveyor running through them. So this would be the long tunnel. Okay, this is a drawing, never mind the writing. And metal encased, so you have metals all around the borders, and this is the conveyor belt running through them. Okay, the conveyor is approximately 20 meters long and 3.3 meters wide. So this is 20 meters this direction, 20 meters this direction, and of course 20 meters this direction as well. And as for this one here, from here to here, this is 3.3 meters. Okay, now approximately 66 by 11 feet, taking up virtually the whole of the width of the oven. Okay, the conveyor is approximate, yeah, so almost all of it. Now, the whole of the width of the oven, so there is no room, there is no wiggle room here. So I guess it should be like this, huh? So it should be like this. Okay, so no extra room. The bread dough is placed in tins that enter on one end of the conveyor. Let me make this a little bit cleaner here. So now you will have tins. Okay, you will have tins. I don't know what shape they are, but the dough is placed inside. The dough is placed inside, and they put the dough here, and then this will go on the conveyor belt. Let's say it will go here and here, and it will keep traveling all the way until it goes there. So the dough is placed from here, and it will travel along all the path, okay, through all of this, which is 20 meters. And if you don't use metric system, 66 feet. That is a long distance, okay. One end of the conveyor travels along the length of the oven and exits at the opposite end, traveling at its fastest speed. The tins take 17 minutes to pass through the oven. So from the second you put it here until it comes out of here, it is 17 minutes to pass through the oven. Okay, the directors do not believe. Now, here comes the fun part. Okay. The directors do not believe that health and safety, let's highlight this one, do not believe, who is this? The directors. They do not believe that health and safety is a full-time job. Now, in Arabic, this was translated incorrectly. It says full-time job, and they wrote it exactly as it looks, a full-time job. They didn't focus on the subtext or the hidden word. They didn't read between the lines. Full-time job here doesn't mean a person going to work full-time. No, it means the directors don't believe that health and safety is something serious, something to be concerned about. They think it's just a legal requirement, and they're burdened with it. Okay, so that's what it's meant by full-time job. But they hope that you will improve the bakery's health and safety performance. Okay, now how can somebody, a disbeliever in health and safety, believe in you to change things? Anyways. Also, learn lessons from the recent serious accident, and most importantly, improve the reputation of the organization. Now, all these things are required of you, and they tell you that there is no budget. There is no budget for health and safety, but if something is needed, you should present an argument for how it will improve profit. So this tells you that the company or the organization is always looking for money. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Now, of course, it is the organization's right to know where the money is being spent and how they will get it back, like a return of investment. But it shouldn't always be that case. You ask, okay, after they demand all of this of you, you ask who the health and safety representatives are within the organization. So you're asking for who? You're asking for the health and safety representatives in the organization. And you are told that there are none. Okay? There are none. It means there is nobody that is working in health and safety in the organization. There are none with whom to raise specific safety issues. Okay? However, if a machine needs to be fixed, you should contact the maintenance engineer. Okay? Okay. Now let's focus on this one as well, a maintenance engineer. You also ask if any health and safety training is provided. Now, really, really, really focus on this one. Health and safety training. Okay, you ask if this is provided to the staff, and you're advised that as far as training is concerned, there is an induction for new starters within 6 weeks of joining the organization. Okay, 6 weeks. 6 weeks, but before it is the keyword within. Within 6 weeks of joining the organization. Now, this does not mean the induction will be for 6 weeks. No. It means the worker can be hired, and in the first 6 weeks, sometime in the first 6 weeks, within the 6 weeks, they will receive an induction training. So maybe there is an employee now who's been working for 4 weeks and they have not received any training, any induction. That's what this is focusing on. New starters are then shown how to carry out their role by someone else in the relevant department. Okay, so after you receive your induction within 6 weeks, you maybe become a worker, maybe you're a manager, maybe you're a maintenance guy. But also, you're told after that that quite a lot of people have received first aid training. Okay, well, that's good. That's impressive. But you see, this is the key word. But it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago, and on top of all of this, um, many of those trained have since left the organization. Okay, so it's like we say in the Middle East, it's like buying fish in the sea. You know, okay, there's a lot of there's plenty of fish in the sea. Okay, what do I do with them? They're not in my organization, so they're not of no use to me. But these are indicators of health and safety culture, like positive or negative. You gotta figure that out. Other than that, there is not much in the way of training. Okay, there's not much because the directors feel it is wasting working time. Okay, focus on this sentence, you will need it later. What kind of indicator is this? Finally, you ask where the health and safety documentation is kept, but they say that they do not know and suggest you ask the shift manager on duty. Okay, so you want to see some health and safety documentation. The regular health and safety documentation, but they say, no, just talk to the shift manager. We don't know where they are. The duty shift manager is sitting at their desk surrounded by paperwork. Surrounded by paperwork. Now, focus on this one as well. Okay? Looking stressed. Looking stressed. And then you introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Garib. I'm the new safety guy here. Okay? And ask where the health and safety documentation is kept. The shift manager pulls out a folder from a cupboard in the corner of the room and says that the risk assessments are in it. Okay, risk assessments are kept in in a folder in the corner. Okay, that shows real importance. You find several completed risk assessments. Okay, that's a good sign, I guess, for the ovens and other machinery. But again, but they are very out of date. They're not just out of date, no, they are very out of date. You ask to see the accident and near miss records, but the shift manager advises that accidents do not happen often. Of course, they will say that, of course. So there is no need to keep a manual record, you know? No need to keep a manual record. Now, remember, we are asking for accidents and near misses, okay? But he says there's no need to keep a manual record. However, look, there's a solution. Don't worry. You have heard from other workers that accidents and near misses frequently occur. Now, in your tour as the new guy in the organization, of course, the guys, the workers told you that accidents happen. Accidents happen, near misses happen, and they don't just happen once. You know, they don't just happen once, but they are not. They are not formally reported. Okay, they are not formally reported. Why? Okay, this is a negative indicator of something. Okay, moving on. You ask where the inspection and maintenance documentation for the bakery machinery is kept. This is become really funny now. Now you're asking for what? The inspection and maintenance documentation for the bakery machinery. You're asking where is this kept? And you are directed to the maintenance engineer. Okay, now at least you're going to the right direction, the maintenance engineer. The maintenance engineer explains that they do not keep records. They do not keep a record of inspections and maintenance. They don't keep that. How dare you ask such a thing? Anyways, other than in their diary. A diary is basically a piece of paper that I write on it any day, like dear diary. Today I made one inspection, and that's it. It's just kept for me. Okay. They have been doing the job for 15 years, and just know, you know, you see how this one here is like that. They just know. You see this sign here? What do you call this? It's not a quote. They just know. It's like a sarcastic quotation mark, really. They just know which machines have had work done to them. So, for example, it's like me saying, "Look, man, I've been here for 15 years. I don't need any record for my machines. Just point at any machine and I will tell you what we did with it and what, when, and how." Okay, but we don't have any records of such inspections and part changes and whatnot, which means that which machines have had work done. When they are working on a machine, they check certain parts at the same time. So they check them. They also remark that as the machines are quite old, they frequently need parts replacing. Okay, so machines are old and they need parts replacing. The workers have been promised new machines a few times, but these promises have not been kept. Okay, these promises have not been kept. Now, we've been talking for like 20 minutes now about the accident. Now let's talk about this infamous recent accident and what had happened in this organization. As part of your remit to learn lessons from the recent serious accident, you decide to investigate what happened. Your inquiries revealed that the accident occurred when the bakery was under pressure. The bakery was under pressure to get an urgent order completed. Okay? Focus. Urgent order completed. You find out that the directors often allow workers to cut corners. Now, directors and cut corners. Cut corners means safety. What safety? Just do production, 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 production. Forget about safety now. Let's earn a living. That's how they convince you. When it comes to safety measures, to enable them to get the job done as quickly as possible. Now, I read this incorrectly. Let's read it again. Uh, you find out that the directors often allow workers to cut corners when it comes to safety measures. So, safety, what safety? Just work. Why do they do this? To enable them to get the job done as quickly as possible and without costly delays. Okay, so they're afraid to lose money. That's why they don't pay attention to safety. This is illogical, but okay, that's just my opinion. Workers are often individually blamed. Okay, they are individually blamed if target timelines are not reached. Now, workers are blamed if they don't meet production deadlines. Okay, this is how the accident happened. On a night shift, so this is telling you when, on a night shift, the conveyor belt racking collapsed into one of the ovens, stopping it from moving. Okay, so the oven stopped moving. It's like the end of the world now. They needed to fix it. But the maintenance engineer, usually assigned to fix breakdowns, only works on day shift. Okay, so this guy only works in the day shift and he's not available in the night shift. Now, we can wait for them to come back to work and fix it and not use this machine. But waiting for this engineer to come back on shift would have caused significant downtime. Now they're talking about MPT. Okay, significant downtime, and would have prevented the order from being completed on time. So now they are focusing more on the order to be completed on time and not the health and safety. Now the manager also, he was under a lot of pressure. Feeling under pressure, the shift manager on duty discussed the issue with their team to try to get the oven back up and running. Okay, it was decided that a newly promoted maintenance engineer and another young worker. Now, guys, look, young worker, another young worker, and this guy. This means he's newly promoted, so maybe he has not received all the induction he needs, all the training he needs, and the other guy also, the young worker, maybe he's been in the company for 5 weeks, but until now he doesn't know what he's doing. They were assigned to enter the bread oven to retrieve the fallen racking themselves. So they were tasked to do that themselves. They have never received any training. They're new to the job and they're being sent into the oven. No one on the night shift had ever seen had ever been present when an oven had needed entering before. Now, all the people that have been working, they have never seen this job being done in front of them ever. Okay, they have never seen anybody go into the oven. The correct way, of course, the correct way uh, to enter the oven for maintenance work would have been to remove the side panels. However, this means that it would take a long time and it needs some special kind of tools, and the workers are unfamiliar with it, So they have no training on that. And this would have taken a long time, and they don't even know where the tools are. Okay, they don't know where the tools are. Now, the oven had only been switched off for 2 hours. Okay, it's only been switched off for 2 hours, but it was assumed. Okay, it was assumed. Now, you know what they say when you assume, right? That you make this out of you and me. It was assumed that it was cool enough to enter. Okay, it was cool enough. So they thought it was cold. It was cool enough to enter. The temperature gauges were not checked. Okay, the temperature gauges, they were not checked before entering. The two workers decided to enter via the route the bread uh, the bread would take on the moving conveyor. So it's like basically their bread dough. This is 20 meter or 66 feet long. The workers, they decided to enter through here and all the way to wherever the accident is, and they wanted to fix the racking. So they managed to get on the conveyor. Let me just fix that. Here we go. They managed to get on the conveyor through a small unguarded gap. Okay, unguarded gap. This is not really that important. I don't remember reading this in the Arabic version, but okay. Once the worker had entered the oven, now they are inside. Okay, once the workers had entered the oven, they soon realized it was too hot. Too hot. They were unable to get the attention of their colleagues outside of the oven. Now, what does this tell you? Now they are working inside a confined space, really. Okay, um, they were unable to get the attention of their colleagues outside of the oven, which means they had no means of communication. But they eventually managed to alert them by shouting for help. Help us! This is too hot. We are burning. It's like I'm watching the movie Saw, and that guy goes into the oven to get the antidote. Anyways, their colleagues tried to meet them. Uh, their colleagues tried to get them out of the oven, but they did not know how to do this. They tried, but they have never seen this job before. They have never seen anybody go inside. They don't know how to use the tools. They don't know where the tools are. They tried to get them out, but they did not know how to do this, and they didn't know how far the individuals were. Like we said that the oven is long, right? Like this is the oven. They don't know at which point the guys are. Everyone was frantically trying to help, but there seemed to be no one in charge. So it's like a headless chicken. There seemed to be no one in charge to take control of the situation. As a result of this, there was a delay in getting them out. You see, this hesitation, there was nobody in charge, okay? Nobody knew how to get this under control. Nobody knew emergency procedure. Nobody knew a lot of things. Because of all of that, it was a little bit late, to get them out. There was no way to reverse the conveyor belt. Remember, like the conveyor belt is like 20 feet, like this, 20 meters or 66 feet. It is one direction this way. They tried to reverse it. They tried to pull them back. They tried to pull them back, but they couldn't. I mean, when I say pull them back, I mean they wanted the conveyor belt to go this way, but it continued to go this way. Okay, so they couldn't reverse it. Now, because of this, the workers, all of them, the workers had to forcibly pull off barriers and side panels to help them escape. They basically tore down they took it down. They took it down to pieces, started taking off panels and stuff, just so the people inside can escape. Notice they didn't say be rescued; they escape. Okay, both workers who entered in the oven suffered serious burns. Workers at the scene, they were not first aid trained, but they did their best to help their colleagues. Unfortunately, both workers died from their injuries at the scene. Now, let's focus on some key words here. Okay, both workers who entered they're seriously burned. Workers at the scene, they're not first aid trained. Okay, but they did their best to help. Okay, unfortunately, both workers died from their injuries at the scene. The workers who helped get them out, they were traumatized. Okay, they were traumatized by what they saw. Like, how can you see somebody smile in a minute, and the next minute he's burned from head to toe? They were traumatized, by what they had witnessed, and they had to take an extended period of work, off of work. Again, another writing error. They had to take an extended period off of work to recover. So they need some time for relaxing. There was also some workers who felt they could no longer work at the bakery, and they resigned. They resigned. They said, you know what? To hell with this. This company is not taking care of me, so I'm leaving. Now, guys, these are also indicators of something. You have to figure this out. Okay? So they were traumatized and they had to take extended periods of off of work. And there was also some workers who felt okay and resigned. Focus on these things. Now, following the accident, the bakery, now watch this, following the accident, the bakery was closed for what? 2 weeks while the investigation took place, and the associated downtime. Remember downtime a few minutes ago, it was, or it would have been a few hours or maybe one shift. But here it says the associated downtime caused many missed production deadlines, and loss of contracts. The organization, the directors, and duty shift manager were all prosecuted for breaches of health and safety legislation. Okay, now these people are prosecuted. The organization itself, as an entity, the directors and shift manager, And as a result, they pleaded guilty to all counts against them. Of course, they are guilty. The organization was fined. They had to pay money. The organization was fined 350,000 pounds in order to pay costs of 250,000 pounds. Since the accident, the bakery has lost bread orders due to clients not wanting to be associated with them. So, not being associated with them is bad reputation, and of course, the bakery lost bread orders. They lost contracts. Why? Because their reputation had been damaged in this accident. Hopefully, this was good, and you got some points, and I'll explain the answers shortly, inshallah.